We have Nick Hancock, who is a All right, that's it. Give him some love, man. Got to start this thing off. That's a lot of pressure. Respect. A local guy, 28-year-old proud animal activist, and so he should be. A father to Betty the cat, raised in Whyalla, I believe is how it's pronounced, in South Australia, and moved to Adelaide in 2009. He was so appalled at the industries that he felt compelled to start speaking out about them. So, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone, please welcome Nick Hancock.
Hello, everyone. My name's Nick Hancock. Does anyone know who that guy was? I've seen him around here a few times. I'm a 28-year-old activist from Australia. I don't really have too much of a massive story behind me. I'm just a guy who works full-time in Adelaide and, yeah, I just felt compelled to speak out about the industries. I'll start by telling a bit of a story about one time I was at Plant 4 in Bowden, and I had just gone vegan at that point, and I, I saw a guy wearing a Defend Animals hoodie, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm not going to be like that guy. You know? And yeah, look at where we're at now, you know? Yeah. So I grew up in a place called Whyalla. It's about 400 or 375 k's that way. Nothing about veganism there at all. There's a few. I know a few vegans there. They're pretty cool. I think there'll probably be a few of them floating around here. So if you're here today, come say hi. We probably know each other because it's such a small town. I'll begin by telling my story about how I went vegan and what I've been up to and how I go about going through life as an advocate in the world that we live in. You know, being vegan in a non-vegan world is a pretty hard thing to have to deal with a lot of the time, and it's really, really tough to be able to go through life and experience new things and have to deal with all the atrocities that people, you know, participate in. So I first went vegan probably about a year and a half ago. I first saw the documentary Cowspiracy, and I just was absolutely appalled by the amount of information that was presented to me. I found out about the amount of water that goes into making animal products. I learnt about the amount of land that was used to grow, you know, all the food and to raise cattle and everything like that. And I just couldn't believe it. I was so just blown away. So at that point, I decided to make a change in my life to not support any of the animal agriculture industries by eliminating dairy, eliminating meat and egg products and things like that. And then I decided to stop eating commercially produced animal products. I moved to kangaroo because I thought that kangaroo was ethically sourced, sustainable. Little did I know that, you know, it wasn't like that at all. Then I watched the documentary What the Hell. So this is probably a lot of you are probably on this same journey, you know, watch Netflix, you know, how amazing is it? I watched What the Health, and then I learned about the animal products' effects on our body and, you know, cholesterol being only found in animal products and, you know, the heart disease and the certain types of cancers and the strokes and all those types of things. I didn't want that to happen. With my mum passing away in 2015, I didn't want to go down the same path. I decided to make all the changes in my life, and then I decided to also start speaking out about it too. You know, I'll tell you some stories about what happened with friends and family. We've all got our own issues as well with friends and family. You know, it's so hard to be able to speak to your friends and family and try and make them sort of make more ethical decisions in their life. As we are all aware, we've probably all had an argument or two with our family members and our friends. And, you know, one time I was talking to my dad. I just picked him up from the airport because he just came back from an 8-week trip in the UK. And I picked him up from the airport, and that's when I was starting to tell him about what I've been doing, what I've been getting up to. And I told him that I was joining up with the AJP. And helping out with the AJP, and that was, for anyone who doesn't know, the Animal Justice Party, vote for them. I was telling him about the AJP, and the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, that's nice, I'm going to go eat a leg of lamb now." So I looked at him, I said, "Dad, come on, mate, that's not cool," you know. And at that point, I had learnt how to speak to people and try and remain calm and collected and learn about, you know, I threw it back on him and I said, "Look, that's not cool. We can eat something else. We don't have to be like that. And I've never seen anyone get so angry with me in my life in the car on the way back to my house, because he's from Whyalla, and he was staying with me until the Sunday to go back to Whyalla. And I said, Dad, there's no animal products in my house. And he got really angry with me, and I said, look, mate, I don't come into your house and I don't kick your dog, so you can't stab a chicken in the throat in my house. And he didn't like that, and I hadn't spoken to him for about, 8 months, and the last time I spoke to him was probably about 2-3 months ago. So, we all have our things with our family and our friends. The way I went about it to begin with was I was pretty aggressive. I was so aggressive, and I hadn't learnt how to deal with speaking to people, and it comes with time, it comes with experience. So all the new vegans out there who are trying to learn ways to speak to people and try and approach it in a more sort of calm and collected way, do what I did. I watched lots of YouTube. I went out there and did some outreach on the street. I just learned to control my anger and control my feelings and listen to what the people have to say, and then provide a rebuttal to the things that they have to say. And if you can stay calm and collected, and then they get irrational and overheated, that really tells you within yourself that you're really, that you can really go out and do it. And I apply that to a lot of different aspects of my life. If I'm talking to people in the public, not necessarily about veganism, I'll always try and provide, education, and it really helps me in all aspects of my life. And I think that everyone can take that and learn from that, and really know how to push forward. I might be waffling on a bit. I haven't actually prepared a speech. just talking from the heart, see how we go. So all right, so what's next? It didn't take me very long to get involved with activism. As soon as I went vegan, I found out about all the other activism areas in Adelaide, the Anonymous for the Voiceless group there. There's a tent around there, so if you haven't been involved in any activism and you're looking at getting into activism, AV or Anonymous for the Voiceless in Adelaide has a really nice, easy demonstration that you can join in and be a part of. If you're not aware, what we do is we get a whole bunch of volunteers together. We stand in a cube formation. We wear masks and hold TVs and signs to show the public the problems with the animal agriculture industries and things like that. Since being involved with AV, I've put my hand up after Luke Webber he got too busy with work and other commitments, and I put my hand up to say I'd take over, and I haven't looked back. It's been one of the most amazing things that I've ever done, just getting involved with AV and running running the show for a while. Since and that didn't take very long either. And since then, I've had a lot of other things going on in my life personally, with a breakup, with selling my house and all those other types of things. I've managed to bring on a couple of other organisers in the AV crew as well. So if you know me, or if you've heard things, and you probably find it a bit hard to approach me or whatever, we have two other organisers in the AV crew in Adelaide. Is Deanna Kangas and Case Vegan Embassy goes by on Facebook. So if you're interested in joining AV, come hit us up. We'll get you approved, and yeah, more than welcome to come to our events. The more the merrier. We have the International Cube Day, which is November 3rd this year. We're having a massive cube in the mall, so be sure to check that out too. Cool. So I also started just putting my hand up for anything that I could put my hand up to. I went to my first vigil on the steps of Parliament House, and I met a lot of people there and a few activists there, and I found out about another protest down in the Birkenhead Bridge in Port Adelaide. And I was standing in line holding a sign, and Amanda Allen, Adelaide Against Live Export, came up to me and she says to me, "Are you Joey?" And I'm like, "No, but thanks." And she said, "Well, do you want to get on the megaphone?" And I said, "Yep." So I got on the megaphone and I was just screaming. I was angry. What the sheep and the animals have to go through. I mean, I'm all for abolition on all counts of animal exploitation, but I'm happy to lend my voice wherever it's needed. So I got on the megaphone and I smashed it. It's just it's just an unbelievable feeling knowing that you're out there and you're just speaking up for all the animals, all the animals that don't have a voice, we are their voice. We need to be the ones to speak up for them. And I've recently watched a few videos on YouTube, and I'll plug Mippy here. She said something that really resonated with me. She said it was on an interview with one of the TV shows after a lockdown event, and you said if we have 1% of people are vegan, and if 1% of those 1% were active, we'd have a vegan world a week ago. And yes, that one. Yeah. So that's so true. If everyone here was active, or in some way, we would be able to make massive changes in this world. And we all want to see a vegan world where we're not exploiting animals for our taste, for our sensory pleasure, for our clothing, for our anything. We all want the same goal. And I think if anyone does their bit, everyone does their bit, we'll be able to have a vegan world a week ago. Cool. Since I was involved with the Ban Live Export protest, I sort of, every single one that I go to, I'd get a message saying, you want to come be on the megaphone? I'm like, yep, let's do it. And we'd have massive protests out front of Parliament House, just get angry, just get loud, get rowdy. We need people to hear us. And, I'm just a guy, who who just speaks up as much as I can, Wherever you can lend your voice for the animals, just do it. Just do it. You've got nothing to lose. There's no shame in speaking up for those who are innocent and those who are vulnerable. Okay, it's just an amazing feeling knowing that what we are doing as a society and as a whole, as a vegan community, is we're making changes. We're making massive changes. And as can be seen with a lot of the statistics that are coming out, I think in the UK last year, I think there was a 917% rise in veganism. It was just unbelievable. Like, it's only going to get bigger. And with the 18,000+ people here last year, and was it like 10, 15,000 the year before, we're just going to be so much bigger this year. It's amazing. Sorry. So I want to talk a little bit about my preferred form of advocacy. Now, I'm just someone who works full time, and I like to spend every other moment of my time thinking what I can do for animals and thinking what I can do to speak up for them. And the way I go about doing it is I make angry Facebook posts. I think of something that will really trigger someone into commenting, and it's my form of fishing. I make a really angry post. I make sure I think about it first because I don't really want to say something wrong. I mean, things have been said wrong in the past, but that's just human nature. We say things, we move forward from them, and we just get on with our lives. I'm always open for criticism as well. And if I say something wrong, I want people to criticize me. I want people to change my mind because I'm not perfect, and there's no perfect form of activism. And one of the main arguments that we get is, you're not doing the right thing. You need to change. You need to change your form of advocacy from a non-vegan. I'm like, okay, all right. So what, are you going to do that then? It's crazy. We just need to, get on them. So I make angry Facebook posts, and let's just say I'll talk about health or environment or ethics. I tend to do more so on environment and ethics over health, because health, there is so much out there, as we can all appreciate and understand. There's lots of conflicting studies, lots of conflicting everything. I mean, we all know that, a whole foods plant-based diet is the optimal diet for human health, right? So, when we argue ethics and environment, you can't refute it. If if we're using 300,000 litres of water to produce 1 kilogram of cow flesh, you can't refute that. That's just unreal. Someone says to me, if I'm out the front, this is a cowspiracy thing, if I'm out the front watering my lawn and I water my lawn until 30,000 litres of water comes out, and my neighbour says to me, hey, can you not? I'll say, oh, yeah, shit, oh, okay, yep, I'll stop. It's a bit different when we walk up to them eating a piece of flesh and say, hey, can you not? Essentially it's the same thing. So what I tend to do is just say something really angry. Like one of the posts that I made the other day or a couple of weeks ago, I said, it's about the feces and urine and pus in cow's milk, and I explained about that, and I said not only are non-vegans animal abusers, but they are also poo eaters as well. And I got someone on there. He jumped on and he had a go. And what I do is when someone jumps on and has a go, I stay calm, I stay polite, and I stay factual. I stay logical and factual and point out every single one of their inconsistencies and make it aware. It's not necessarily for the person I'm arguing with or debating with. It's more so for the people who are scrolling past. I've had lots of people message me and say, hey, look, Nick, wow, I didn't know any of this. I'm going vegan. I'm like, awesome. Hit me up anytime, I have nothing but time for people who want to change to a cruelty-free lifestyle and just to offer my own advice and my own support. I mean, no one needs to take it, but, I think I've got something to offer. And hopefully my way of advocacy really appeals to a lot of people here, because every single time someone makes a post that's similar to mine, I'll type a comment saying reporting in so I can sit on there and just, what I do is I see it as experience. So I'll go onto Facebook or Instagram or wherever, and I'll see a non-vegan posting something about vegans or whatever, and I will go in there and I'll call them out. I'll say something to them. I'll say, look, you're wrong. This is why. And they'll say, oh, but bacon. And I'll say, well, I mean, you just refuted veganism. It's just, I just see it as experience. And sometimes I go onto pages like Lad Bible or all these other massive pages, and I see it as like going into the matrix and picking someone out and just arguing with them and just getting experience. And, I've sort of gained a bit of a reputation around my friends that aren't vegan for being so aggressive on Facebook and on online and things like that. But, I just do what I can with what I have, and I have nothing to lose because the animals are just there suffering. So I'm not going too fast for you. No? Sorry. So animals they just suffer, and we need to save them. Another thing I like to do is I like to be true to myself as well. There's a lot of times where you can experience a bit of burnout. You can be a bit down and out, and you just don't really feel like doing anything. And it's just when you get into those moods, it's really hard to pull yourself out of them. But what I tend to do is I'll sit down and I'll watch Earthlings, I'll watch Land of Hope and Glory, I'll watch any of these other documentaries, and that'll just pick me back up. I was once feeling really sad one day, and I watched Dominion, and obviously it made me sadder and angrier, but it just made me think my suffering is nothing compared to what other animals are going through. However, having said that, I do believe that it is good to look after yourself. So if you are feeling down and out, please take your time, take what you need to do what you need to do to pull yourself out of your rut and bring yourself back stronger and more passionate for the animals. So that's another thing that I was going to say. So I got involved with Sea Shepherd as well. So Sea Shepherd just over there. You can go buy some merch. They're such an amazing organisation. It's so totally worth getting involved with. They're always looking for volunteers, and their merch is just sick. It's all just awesome stuff, and their story is just unbelievable as well. So I've got a lot of time for Sea Shepherd and any other activism organisation that will have me on board. So also, if you have any ideas for activism, don't wait to speak to someone else about it. Get out there and do it yourself. If you have ideas, get friends together and go out there and just make things happen. If you put a post out on Facebook and call to arms people and say, look, we need help with people doing this, you will have so many vegans jump on and say, yeah, let's do it. Let's get out there. There's another crew that I used to help organise called Adelaide Vegan Outreach as well. What we did to begin with was we were paying people $1 to watch www.1000eyes.com in the mall. We set up a table and had 4 laptops, and we had signs to say, pay you $1 to watch a short video. And I've had a few conversations with them. One of the people I've had a chat with is young Harry here. He's now here. He's vegan and he's here with his family, and it's just amazing, you know, just knowing that the conversations you have in the public can just, you know, turn people's lives around and help them discover the true meaning of, you know, living a life that's free from exploitation and harm and suffering. It's just incredible knowing that can happen, you know. Also, I also want to take this time to take a pledge. A lot of you may have heard of a thing called the Liberation Pledge. The Liberation Pledge is where you say or you publicly announce that you are no longer going to be sitting at the same table as if there are any animals being served. And I'm taking this opportunity to take the Liberation Pledge and to not ever sit at the same table as animal products. So there are a lot of... Thanks, guys. There are a lot of pros and cons to that. I have weighed it up. One time I was at a dinner party for a friend's birthday, and there were vegan options there, which were really awesome. But everywhere else there was just dead babies, and that's just what I see. If that's the language you don't want to hear, that's just what I say, and that's how I see it. I just saw dead babies, I saw dead lambs, I saw dead chickens, I saw dead animals, and I had to get up a few times and walk away. And that was the point where I decided to take the Liberation Pledge, and I saved it for today. So I'll make a public post within the next couple of days, and yeah, so everyone, if you are into or would consider doing that, I would suggest weighing up your options, because there are a lot of pros to the pledge and cons to it. Some of the cons would be not being able to sit at the same table and discuss veganism, which I think, you know, that's a very fair point. But the way I look at it is I'm making a stand by saying, no, I'm not eating at the same table as you. And if they want to question me on why, I'll tell them why. Because I just don't want to participate in that in any way, shape or form. So yeah, that's another thing. I'll also tell you another story about one time I was out having drinks in town, because I'll just reiterate, I'm just a guy. Like, I don't have any backstory. Like, I've never been involved in any bad dealings in the past. I've, you know, never had to pull myself out of a massive rut where, you know, I've been, you know, I don't have that inspirational story that we will hear from all of the other speakers today. However, I do have what probably a lot of you have, which is the same sort of lifestyle. We all work, we all have our friends in our social groups, and we all just do what we can. So one time I was out in town having some drinks with some friends, and I came home, and there were some friends at my house, and this was just as maybe about 2 months after I went vegan, and I was just I hate the dairy industry, by the way. It's just the worst. You know, it's something about, you know, what happens to the animals there. It's just, to me, and yeah, so I got home, and there were a couple of people sitting around the table, which is all cool, and I decided to bring up the topic of, you know, veganism, and just to try and get the people who were non-vegan at the table to discuss about it and talk, and yeah, so we touched on the dairy industry, and this person said to me, I was told, oh, but I have a friend who has a dairy farm, and they treat the cows really, really well. And I said some bad words. And those words, you know, are probably not worth mentioning right now. I see the process, and I see the person participating in the process as the person perpetuating the suffering. And not a lot of people see it that way, and I can understand that going out and saying words to people like that is not very good. So I've learned from that, okay? I don't continue to do that anymore. Only on Facebook I'll do that. But I've learned from that, and what happened was there was a massive argument, and I've lost a friend over it. And, you know, a friend that would probably have maybe even converted to veganism by now if I had approached it a lot differently. and that's just something that, something that we have to deal with as vegans. So please, if anything, learn from my mistakes. Make your own mistakes and just learn from them. I think it's really amazing to be able to be presented with new information and make a change based on that information. I like to think that I'm a very open-minded person. There are a lot of things out there that I am not educated on and that I don't understand fully to an extent, and things that I may have already formed an opinion on in the past based on just society. But the thing with that is, and the beauty about veganism and the way it teaches you to think and talk and conduct yourself, is you have the opportunity to revisit your thoughts and change things in your life to make better impacts and better changes moving forward. So so if that's where I believe that I've got veganism down. So that's why I tend to just pump veganism stuff on Facebook, on Instagram and all these other things. So I am not sure how much longer I've got to go. Oh, I'm over to, okay, well, yeah, that's me. So, yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. All right, thanks. Thank you so much for everyone. This is an amazing festival. I didn't get the things telling me I've got 5 minutes left, but I think there's going to be a bit of a Q&A thing. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, if anyone has any questions, I think Rebecca's going to be organising something. So any questions for me? If I'm happy to answer. Sorry? I'm good. Yeah, I got 5 minutes, so I'll use that to answer some questions. So yeah, anyone have any questions for me? Anda? Say that again, ma'am. My dad is not here. He's back home in Whyalla, so I would love for him to have been here and to see where I've come, but yeah, no. All right, who's next? Hey, Adam. All right, here we go.
Nothing too serious, buddy. You still doing anything with the AJP?
At the moment, I'm not. If they do need me to help do some things, I'll be happy to help out and, leaflet or, spread some stuff on social media and things like that. But we've got an amazing new person stepping in the interim. Her name's Deanna. She'll be floating around. Yeah, she's got it. She's got it. All right. Who's up? Wow, I've answered everyone's questions.
You must have done a good job.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. And if you're not vegan, go vegan. And, yeah, do it. Peace.